So I was out on Saturday night here in Bucharest, Romania, and there was a bunch of hot girls in the club. I mean, a shitload of hot girls. This is one of those countries where you get a plethora of hot girls when you go out. Similarly, where my old home was, it still is kind of my home, Miami Beach also has a lot of hot girls, but they're very different in nature. American hot girls and Eastern European hot girls, there's a big difference. The point in this video is not the difference between Eastern girls and Western girls. The point of this video is to give you my findings every time I go out and I experience good interactions and bad interactions with women. I am a veteran at this game, and anyone that sees me in action realizes that I've got one, a very big pair of balls, and two, I've been doing this for a very long time. So I'm always going to have the ability to talk to women and to pick up new phone numbers and to engage in positive interactions. Some of them positive, some of them negative. And here is what I really noticed about the interactions that I had with girls on Saturday night here in Bucharest at this amazing party. It doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter how well you dress. It doesn't matter how cool you look. If your interaction goes badly, i.e., if your aura is not on point, she will realize, she will notice, and she will feel awkward, and she'll be put off by the whole thing entirely. Let me give you an example. I stood next to a couple of girls within their vicinity, looked over at them a few times, made sure they knew I was looking at them. They looked back. I looked over again. They looked back. They realized I was looking at them. And so they looked back a couple of times and they held stare. And you know that when a woman holds stare with you, she's interested. If, however, she looks at you and looks away very quickly, obviously, if she then walks away, she's not interested. But if she holds stare with you and she stays in that location, she's interested and she's intrigued. So there was a couple of occasions on Saturday night where I held stare with some really beautiful women. However, and I admit my flaws, because when you approach this many women, when you have these sorts of experiences, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that every single experience is positive. That is bullshit. Anyone that tells you that is straight lying to you. And what's key for me on this channel is authenticity. That's my primary goal, authenticity. So a couple of the interactions where I was staring at these girls and they stared back, when I walked over to them, I didn't possess the correct aura. And I didn't really say the right thing. I didn't really kick it off correctly. I remember walking up to this girl and having to move her friend out the way, which just didn't go down so well. And as I moved her friend out the way and I approached this girl, I remember whispering in her ear, I was like, hey, I really like your style. I wanted to come over and say hello. And it just didn't go down so well with her in that instance. And she was like, oh yeah, okay, thank you. And then I stood there for a second and realized it didn't go well immediately. And I was like, oh shit, how do I turn this one around? And then I stuck around and said a couple of other things, but whatever I said just didn't work. So I had to walk away from that. And it happened again on another occasion where I walked up to a girl and the aura and my energy just wasn't really on point, even though they were looking back and they were interested. My approach and my body language and what I said just didn't really trigger and didn't really work. Then there was two other occasions where my vibe was a bit better that evening. I don't know, at that particular moment, I was just feeling a bit better. I was in a better mood. I was more like flowy and chilled. I was actually in the smoking area. And I did the same thing. I looked over at a girl and she looked back at me. I looked over again and she looked back at me. And then when I strolled over, I was like way smoother. It was like Casanova strolling over to this girl. I was like strolling over. I was like, hey, how you doing tonight? And she immediately just enjoyed my energy. And she was just like, hi, yeah, I'm good, thanks. Playing with her hair, like showing me the signs that she was interested. And I was dressed quite nicely. I was wearing a shirt. I'd worked out quite heavy last week, so you could see that you could see I'm in good shape. And I'd like trimmed my beard nicely and made sure I cut all the little edges off here and, did my hair up nicely. And obviously you got to look the part, of course. But on top of that, as I'm saying, energy and aura is so key. So when I walked up to that girl and I was like, oh, I like your hat. It's lovely. Like, where did you get it from? And she was talking, she was playing with her hair. The interaction just went so well. And I was like, I need to go to my friends. I need to go back to my friends. Why don't I take your details? Why don't I take your Instagram? And now we've been talking and then we're going to set up a coffee date this week. So what I'm trying to say to you is, it isn't all about how you dress and how you look. It's actually very heavily about your energy and your aura. And you can do that by being more relaxed. Bro, you need to be relaxed when you approach a girl. Relax the shit out of yourself. Walk over calmly. Smile. Just be cool. Be easygoing. If she rejects you, no problem. Have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourself. So it's just so important how you actually approach these girls. Every girl over the past year that I've spoken to in depth about this stuff tells me that the energy of a man is so important. It isn't just necessarily purely how he looks. Now, it would have been a bit different if I was some famous superstar and I was very well known. Then whatever you say when you walk up to the girl, they're just going to be playing with their hair. They just want to be around someone that famous. They're going to be like, oh yeah. Even if you're saying the dumbest shit ever, right? Famous people can say dumb shit and get away with it. So ultimately, you have to be super relaxed when you're approaching a woman. Be just in your zone, be calm, and just be friendly and be nice. And sometimes it's going to work for you. And sometimes it's not going to work because you just simply don't have the right energy, the right aura, and it just doesn't click with that girl. So don't take it too personally. Look good, dress well, be relaxed, be confident, keep approaching, and you'll keep finding women to go on dates with, to sleep with, and to eventually find a wonderful girlfriend that respects you.